Morning. My name is Mai Nguyen, and I'm currently studying a Master in International Development Policy at Duke-University. Growing up in a poor household in southern Vietnam, I experienced the harsh realities of corruption and poverty firsthand, watching my people in the community, including my parents, work multiple jobs, yet struggle to provide for the families. For my passion to create positive changes and thrive and make tangible difference for the community. This led me to seek opportunities to uplift the community and foster local economic growth. In 2014, while pursuing my undergraduate studies in Japan, I founded my own NGO with the goal of empowering the community, youth, and promoting peace. During the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic in late 2020 in Vietnam, there was a transformative moment occur for me while I was volunteering at the Social Insurance Central Office in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. I was shocked to see long queues of people waiting at dawn. These lines were not for Black Friday event, but for the people waiting to withdraw their pensions early from the social insurance system. I cannot help but wonder, why are people willing to trade their future retirement security for cash in hand today? And to me, at that moment, it became evident to me that that policy changes are essential to help these people, and only through effective policy can we truly make a difference in people's life. This experience serves as the driving force behind my journey with the Rotary Peace Fellowship and my studies at Duke University. Thanks to the opportunities that given to me by you all, I had the opportunity to engage with experts in economic and social policy within a dynamic academic environment. I have also learned about the peace framework, which has helped me to analyze conflicts, identify root causes, and design effective interventions for peace development. And also for my master project, I'm working with Professor Eddie Maliski to work on this problem of early pension withdrawals in Vietnam. So what exactly is social insurance and who is that for? To help you have a better understanding of the Vietnam social insurance system, let's compare it with the US pension plan. So in the US, there are two main systems, Social Security, a public plan, and IRA, individual retirement account, or 401k, a private retirement plan offered through US employers. While people really cannot access their Social Security funds before retirement, you have the option to withdraw the money early from your IRA or your 401k, but with some penalties. While in Vietnam, there is only one pension system called social insurance, which is designed as an economic safety net. It is meant to provide citizens with financial protection and support during certain risks in life, such as sickness, unemployment, retirement. And contributions to the social insurance system are mandatory for both employers and employees, and the funds are managed by the government. In Vietnam, people who are unemployed for at least 1 year can have the option to withdraw a one-time lump sum payment from the social insurance system, which allows them to receive the full benefits as a single payment before retirement. However, this comes as a trade-off. Withdrawing these funds forfeits their pension tied to the retirement plan, unlike in the US, where people can access the fund from private retirement accounts such as IRA or 401k in emergencies. Vietnam allows people to withdraw the money from the government funds and without any penalties. So they can just withdraw the money freely. So like Social Security, which originated during the Great Depression, Vietnam's social insurance system highlights the importance of providing assistance during economic hardships. It is the mechanism for us to take care of each other, that we are financially protected. If there are excessive withdrawals and the system fails to support the people, it could lead to severe economic hardships and social instability. When people get old without pensions, they will just become poor, homeless, and if this number is large, it could lead to unrest and violence across the country. In fact, in 2015, thousands of Vietnamese workers went on strike for 6 days to protest against a new social insurance policy, which only allowed them to withdraw the money upon retirement. They wanted the flexibility to access to this fund while unemployment, to cover daily expenses while seeking for new jobs. So it's extremely important to ensure that the social insurance system functions effectively to prevent such outcomes and promote peace and stability in society. So the rising trend of one-time social insurance withdrawal in Vietnam in recent years is alarming. While from 2016 to 2019, new participants exceeded withdrawals. The trend intensified from 2020 during the pandemic, with nearly 900,000 withdrawals in 2021 alone. The demographic breakdown reveals that many of the people who claim for this lump sum payment fall within the age brackets of 20 to 40 years old. The largest age group to withdraw this money is concentrated from 30 to 40 years old, with over 40%. Notably, a higher portion of women, 55%, withdrew the money compared to men, 45% in 2021. So why did the people withdraw the money? A survey conducted last year reveals that 60% of them lost their job and they had no other savings to sustain their life. The problem seems obvious and simple. People lose their job and they need the money immediately, but it's actually deeper than that. Many people don't understand the system, the benefits of the system well, and they view it as the personal saving account so that they can just withdraw the money freely anytime they want. Also, low-income households and women at workplace, they lack support for childcare, making it really hard for them to work without withdrawing the money early, and physically demanding jobs in manufacturing sectors lead to early retirement desires and job loss challenges in their 40s. So currently, to ensure that people have pension when they get old, the Vietnamese government is proposing two options. First option is to reduce the total amount of money that they can withdraw to only 50%. And the second one is that new participants from 2025 onwards, they cannot withdraw this money anymore. And alongside with the government proposals, I will also try to take action with my NGO. I will launch an educational campaigns to raise the awareness of long-term consequences of early pension withdrawals and the importance of having financial security for retirement. I will also establish support programs to assist low-income households and women at workplace. This could involve offering a financial literacy workshop and vocational training to empower them to have another source of income to overcome their own financial hardships without the need to withdraw the money early. And also, I will try to collaborate with employers and trade unions to improve the workers' employability through tailored training programs, focusing on skill development and capacity building. As I wrap up my presentation, by promoting financial stability, ensuring social welfare for the citizens, and fostering an equitable society, we can lay a strong foundation for lasting peace, not only in Vietnam, but also all over the world. Together, we can build a society in the future when people get pension when they get old, and we contribute that to peace and prosperity for generations to come. Thank you.
Wonderful. So I hope you enjoyed that presentation. I know I certainly did. It's wonderful to be here with all of you today. In my role as director of DCID, I'm very proud of the small role that we play in helping train these wonderful fellows. And I'm especially proud because as Mai's master's thesis advisor, I've been able to see this project from the onset. To paraphrase John F. Kennedy, Mai did not choose this problem because it was easy. She chose it because it was hard. It is one of the hardest policy problems in Vietnam today. And, it has required a lot from her to learn how Vietnam finances the pension system, to collect original data on this, to do her own survey, to see how Vietnamese people were experiencing this. And solving this problem has critical implications for Vietnam. As you can tell, it has implications today for economic stability and political stability in Vietnam. And it has big long-term implications for Vietnam as the Vietnam's population is aging. People are going to rely upon these pensions. And if they're drawn out too early at this rate right now, it means that there won't be a safety net for those people down the road. And so trying to figure this out has been critical. I have a question for Mai, but I did want to just add a few things of context that I thought were really interesting as so, I think it may help as you're all thinking about the questions you want to ask. So one is that, Mai pointed to it that this situation became exacerbated during COVID in Vietnam, and that's absolutely true. But the thing that I think makes this problem salient is that it didn't quell after COVID. It continued to exacerbate with more and more people still taking it out. So it's a problem that currently exists. Second, Mai pointed to that there's a large number of what we would consider relatively young people, 20 to 40, 30 to 40, that are still working age, that are leaving their jobs to be able to take out this money, and that it's felt disproportionately on women workers. And I wanted to add context to that too. Vietnam has been, over the past 30 years, the second fastest growing economy in the world next to China. Poverty alleviation in Vietnam has been dramatic over this period. But and most people would have said that the group that Mai is highlighting today were the winners in the Vietnamese economy. These were the people that had moved. They were usually internal migrants that moved into the manufacturing sector, that were receiving higher wages, that were part of the fastest growing part of Vietnam. So it's really fascinating to see that this is the group that's struggling. This is the group that is feeling most challenged and is taking these drastic steps. And the third thing I wanted to highlight, and this is going to lead to my question that I'm going to ask, is that you can tell that the Vietnamese government is taking this very seriously. The National Assembly will be debating this policy in May. And they have put forward this, a policy solution, a reduction in the lump sum, or actually not taking out the lump sum at all. But this has only made the problem worse. As Vietnamese people have learned that the National Assembly is taking these policy options, more people felt obligated to go and take it out. So the problem is sort of spiked as the solution has come. So Mai's ability to answer this question is really pressing. Okay, so here's my question, Mai. So, so you aimed your NGO or aimed what you want to do is work on these activities to provide training, to provide capacity training, to provide understanding, with the idea that if people had a better understanding of the system, better capacity to be able to, think about the potential solutions, that this might resolve it. But I wonder if there's kind of a tougher nut to crack here, that this is ultimately about trust in the government, trust in the integrity of the government to use these resources, or trust in capacity, whether they believe the government has the ability to be able to manage their money better than they can manage the money themselves. And so my question for you is, so how much, given you the surveys that you've done of Vietnamese people, how much does trust play a role? And is it trust about integrity, or is it trust about capacity that's the biggest challenge?
Thank you, Eddie, for such a really impressive statement in the beginning, and thank you for the question. So before we can dive into the topic, I just want to say a little bit about the history of the social insurance. So before the 90s, social insurance, so the only state employees were able to get the pensions, and it was not for everyone. And starting from the 90s, the government, they wanted to do a revolution to make pension like it's accessible to everyone, not just state employees, also private employees, same employees. And that was and that moment, one time social insurance policy was not even born. No one knew about it, and there is no such thing in the International Labor Organization standard. But then there was loopholes, because the private employees, when they started, because there was a campaign and there was a revolution of it, and it started in the 90s. And when private employees, they started contributing to the system, there was no records of how many years, how long they have contributed, and like there was no record. And then when they lost their job, they requested that money to be back, like to get that money back, because they said, I contributed this money, so I had the right to take it back. And then the authority at that time was thinking about this, this like a short-term solution for them, for those who lost the jobs, and just get them the money back. And it was the premise for this policy. And then it has become a norm, like a social norm in Vietnam, that once you lose the job, you can just have the option of withdrawing this money, for your immediate needs. So it's actually a really complicated. It was started from really like many years ago, and the Vietnamese policymakers, they actually wish that they did that in the past, because it created so much consequences right now, and it's really hard to stop this. And so talking about trust, I did an online survey to the Vietnamese people, and I have some data. So I can tell you that 33% of them don't trust the government, because there is no transparency. There is no official data of how to invest the money. And I'm Vietnamese, and I contributed to the system like several years when I was working in Vietnam. But I think I didn't really have any idea of how to invest the money, and can I really get the pensions when I retire. So, and according to my survey, it's 34% don't trust the government, because they cannot find any data about how the money is invested. So this is a really big problem. And also, and 43% thought that it's their right to withdraw the money. So So it's just because of the loophole in the past that they didn't really trust the way the government managed their money, and creates really such a big problem right now.
That's a great answer. So would you say that, putting these things together, that it needs to be more than just constraining people from taking out the money, and more than just educating people about how the system works, but actually real government transparency about how the money is being managed, how it's being used, and that needs to be communicated alongside the process.
Yes. So I think there should be more conversations between the government and the people, because the people, they don't understand well, from a survey as well, 30% of them don't understand the benefits of the system. And they think it's, as a personal saving account, they think about short-term needs instead of long-term security for their retirement.
That's a great answer. Okay, so why don't we take some questions from the audience? Oh, wow, okay, so right up here, 12 o'clock, yeah. Yeah, in the blue tie, yeah.
Good morning. My name is Rick Maddox. I'm from the Petersburg Breakfast Rotary Club out of District 7600. Thank you. My question is, I noticed there you only focus on one retirement program, and that's from the government. And many countries have offered alternatives in addition to companion programs. We have the IRAs, we have corporate pensions and such. Is there a plan in your program, or a suggestion to maybe offer those companion programs with restrictions as well to complement this, versus just relying on one? Because if it fails, it's catastrophe, but the others can make up, whether it be corporate plans or whether it be a government plan like our IRAs and others.
Thank you for the question. So right now, in terms of the government side, there is only one pension system, and actually this social insurance system, they covers everything. If you have sickness, if you go to the hospital, they will pay for a portion of it. And if the woman, they're pregnant and they can also get the full salary from the social insurance system. So it just covers everything, but in the pension system is included. And right now, so in the US, we have like 401k or IRA, but in Vietnam, we don't have private. We really don't have similar things. And if you want to think about the pension when you get old, get some money when you get old, probably you need to know how to invest by yourself, like with stocks and bonds or real estate. Like it's not a part of the government plan. I think that's the challenge in Vietnam right now, and I think we should learn from big and developed countries like in the US. But it's just right now it's just one one system.
I see a question right here in the red jacket. Oh, let's go to the virtual. Okay, yeah.
Okay, this is from virtual. It's audience. Does gender inequality in educational and economic opportunities play a role in the higher number of women withdrawing the insurance? Would that be a systemic problem?
Can you say it again?
Gender inequality, is it is inequality in gender capacity, is it a systemic problem that's contributing
to? I think I mentioned in my presentation that women, they have a higher proportion there was a higher proportion from women, which is 55% to withdraw the money, compared to men for 5%. So, and also talking about wages, there is a disparity between the income for women and men, because the biggest beneficiaries of the social insurance system are from the workers from the manufacturing sectors, and they usually have really low wages. So if they lose their job, or if women, they don't have enough money to take care of their kids and for raising the kids, it's really easy to just withdraw this money because it's only trust that they can have the immediate money for their needs right now. So yeah, I think there is also a gender disparities that contribute to these problems.
Okay, Mai, so I'm getting the signal that that we have to stop. We don't want to
Okay.
be like compound, but I can tell from the audience, there's a lot of people who want to ask you more questions, so you'll be busy during the coffee break.
Okay.
Yeah.